You are poor because you've been lied to. That lie is the reason why most people don't make it. And once I realized the answer to this lie and the truth behind it, everything changed for me, and I think it'll change for you too. So don't go mindlessly scroll to somewhere else. Stay here with me for the next few minutes, and you'll find the answer to a question that you might not even realize you should be asking yourself.
So I started writing this book years ago. The idea of the book was that most of us do our time in padded cells with golden handcuffs. And that all of us, I think, have felt at some time or another that invisible tie that binds. And it's our choice. Nobody's enslaved here in this country any longer. And yet we often find our 9-to-5s create these ties. And what would happen in a world in which we tried to break those? And in my world, I talk about breaking those with something called boring businesses. But what if we expanded that a little bit? And so I don't want to read a lot, and I hope I leave you with this tiny seed. My book is called Subversive, this book. I've never read it aloud. I've never talked to anybody about it. There's no laundromats in it, oddly. But there is this seed that I plant right now with a TikTok video and an Instagram reel, but that I hope to plant with words that transcend more than 120 characters. Each of us, we have something I call it inside of us. This thing we're supposed to do, this thing we're uniquely good at, this thing that we can't help but do for the love of it. And what happens if we were able to do that thing? If we were able to, through our small businesses, pay for our rent and mortgage and kids and colleges and all the things, and thus lean into that other voice inside. And so I'm only gonna read you 30 seconds, but I hope you leave with this idea of what is your it. And I'm gonna borrow some words from another, and then I'm gonna leave you with some words of my own. I got the idea for the it after reading a poem from Charles Bukowski. And it struck a chord really deep inside about the wrongness of letting others become the architect of your life. And you walk around in a house that doesn't feel like yours. And how instead could you be the one to build that foundation? And so here it goes. If it, and by it, I mean what you choose to dedicate your life to, doesn't flow out of you like blood from a mortal wound, don't do it. If it doesn't stream rivers, don't do it. Find the thing whose tide cannot be stemmed. We each have it, we each just need to find it, and then more importantly, perhaps summon the courage to do it. I got this from this poem, So You Want to Become a Writer, from Bukowski. And he says, don't be like so many writers. Don't be like so many thousands of people who call themselves writers. Don't be dull and pretentious and boring and consumed with self-love. The libraries of the world yawned themselves to sleep over your kind. Don't add to it. Don't do it. Unless it comes out of your soul like a rocket. Unless being still would drive you to madness or suicide or murder, don't do it. Unless the sun inside you is burning your gut, don't do it. When it is truly time, and if you have been chosen, it will do it by itself. And it will keep on doing it until you die or it dies in you. There is no other way, and there never was. That's by Bukowski, a poet and a bit of a madman. And so what I'll say to all of you is that to all my fellow madmen and women, to all of my fellow contrarians and creators and builders and business buyers, may you find your it. And I can promise you one thing. Although you may do a cash flow deal, although you might buy that car wash, although perhaps a laundromat is in your future, that's not your it. It is the first step on your stairway up to whatever that thing is inside of you that you can't do but for lack of dying. So thank you guys so much for coming tonight. I really appreciate it. What do you want to do next?